Hi, and welcome back to Scarecrow, home of all things spooky and crafty. In today's video, we're going to take a dive into some ideas and tips for your Scarecrow costume. I know most people don't have hours and hours to spend on their Halloween costuming, and if you are only going to wear it for one night, say for a party or to go out trick-or-treating, you will want it to be quick to make, effective, and more importantly, wearable. So we are going to look at a simple style so that when you go out to Halloween or lurk around the yard haunt terrorizing people, you're dressed to impress and make a convincing farmyard ghoul. Now, this is purely going to be about clothing in this video. If you want to make a mask, I have a couple of tutorials on my channel. Check them out to get some ideas on what to make. So let's start with the raffia straw. We will use this to make it look like straw coming out of your costume and sell the scarecrow look. Now, one of my pet hates is seeing scarecrow costumes with straw that looks like it's come from pets at home. Raffia straw always looks very bleached and new, so I guess you can use it like this. But if you're taking your costume to the next level, you need to weather it. Get some brown and black paint mixed to make a dark brown, mix it with water to a milky thickness, and then simply run the watery mixture over the top of the raffia. It's super messy, so do it outside. And you can never have enough of this, so make a really good batch up and then let it dry. The straw will now look all weathered, old, and authentic. Okay, moving on to your top half. A black, grey, or brown t-shirt is ideal as a base, the older the better. Then, for the outer garment, you are going to need a check shirt or lumberjack shirt. Anything will do as long as it looks suitably rural and farm-like. If you can get one with natural earth tones like brown, beige, or grey, they will work well with the weathering we're going to do. So let's talk about the weathering. I will go through a quick basic technique for you, but if you want to research this more, there are about 1 million videos on YouTube detailing how to weather clothing for zombies and apocalypse type stuff using all kinds of inventive techniques, which are all really useful. What I show you now will get you to a passable weathered look if you just want to get this costume underway quickly. So first up, we are going to slice and dice the shirt. You can use a knife for this, a cheese grater, or any kind of abrasive tool, just as long as it tears and roughs up the fabric. I'm putting lots of short, random cuts on all edges of the shirt, and hand tearing some of them to enlarge them. Secondly, I'm using a knife sharpening stone to go over those cuts and really fray the fabric. Focus in on the areas where you tend to find the worst weathering, so on the shirt you should be roughing up the sleeve ends, elbows, the hem at the base, as well as the front edges. Work all around the piece and fray the fabric so that it looks absolutely wrecked. Be careful with the seams at the shoulders or structural parts of the clothing though. You don't want to make them unwearable, so go a bit easier on these. Now this shirt also has bright buttons which simply will not do. We will remove some of them and the remaining ones will stain with some paint later on. Next step is to use some watered down black and brown acrylic paint to add grime, damp and staining. I'm using a sponge to apply this and working from the bottom of the shirt. After adding the paint mix, I'm taking clean water and dragging it up the shirt. This will help blend the effect so it doesn't dry in a tide line. Now you can go all over the shirt with this, but it's a good idea to have the darker stained areas at the bottom and at the cuffs of the shirt, along with wherever the water may collect, like round the collar or the pockets. Then, add the brown paint mix once you've gone round with the black. Because the shirt will now be damp, it's easier to make the brown paint look more natural and blended with the black staining. You should add this in small patches. Once that is applied, put it out to dry, then take a look at it to see if you're happy, and repeat the process if you think it needs a bit more. And now for the t-shirt. We are going to give it the same treatment. Now I've gone for a grey t-shirt to contrast the darker colour of the shirt. With the t-shirt, only the front is going to be visible, so you only really have to do that half of it. I've ripped and frayed the front, and now I'm working in some stains and grime, exactly the same process as for the outer shirt. Right, let's move on to the trousers. You can use an old beat-up pair of jeans for the lower part, or old cargo or utility trousers are also pretty good. I'm doing the same cutting technique, focusing on the bottom and working up. Again, I'm using a knife sharpening stone to really rough up the ends of the legs and anywhere I want the trousers to look worn. Now, do not carry any holes or rips up into the seat and the front top of the trousers, though, for obvious reasons. And once they're all nicely roughed up, I'm just going to use some white spray paint and very lightly dust over the areas of the leg which would naturally wear quicker. So knees, tops of the leg, the seat area, and the backs of the leg. This should be done sparingly, but it really adds to the worn look. And finally, we're going to use the same watered down black and brown paint technique we used on the shirt to add stains and grime to the bottom of the leg and anywhere where water would run and collect. Start at the very bottom of the trouser legs and use clean water to fade it up into the lower leg. Now, I tend to leave the darker stains at the lower part of the trouser leg and leave the top and the groin alone. You don't want your Scarecrow to look like he's had an accident. After doing all that, let it dry, see if you're happy. You can always repeat the process if you want it even darker. Okay, working down, now to the feet. If you have a really old battered pair of boots, then they will be ideal to wear. You could wear old trainers as well, but boots are more farmy. If all you have is brand spanking new shoes or trainers and you don't fancy weathering them, then as a last resort you can make a simple burlap cover to go over the top, which should look really effective. Now, full disclosure, what I'm going to show you next is very lightweight. It won't stand up to a night after night of wear and tear, but should be good enough to get you through a party or Halloween night in your yard haunt. You'll need some elastic for this as well. First, wrap the footwear in an old bag or cling film so that it doesn't get covered in glue, paint and burlap fibres. When I started this, I made a rough paper template to work from, transferring it to the burlap. But for the second set, I just eyeballed the whole thing, and they more or less turned out the same. So I'll leave it to you to decide. But basically, you need one strip to go around the heel, and then multiple strips to connect to this over the top of the shoe. So starting from the back, hold the heel strip in place and hot glue the next section on, and work to the front, folding in any spare material to form the toe. You can add patches of burlap over the top of this to strengthen everything. If you are eyeballing this, then the great thing about burlap is any loose bits or overlap, you can sort of cut back burlap really easily. Then take a thick strip of elastic. You are going to glue this either side of the middle of the foot so that it sits in the recess in front of the heel. This way it won't keep getting stepped on and will hold the cover tight. A second elastic strip needs to go just inside the front of the boot at the toe. Again, this holds it in place, but gets less wear and tear from being stepped on. Take it all off and then hit it with some black spray paint and you're done. Quick and easy, and they actually look pretty good when tied in with the whole costume, as you'll see later. Now for the gloves. I would recommend checking out my video on how to make a nice scary pair of Scarecrow hands. But if time is at a premium or you just want to get things done, I would recommend using an old pair of gardening gloves. Give them a wash and then weather them the same as the shirt and the trousers. It's a good shortcut to get a decent overall look for the costume. Okay, we are now going to add some straw to finish the costume off. Starting with the shirt, I'm going to take some of the raffia straw and cut it into short irregular length pieces. We want it to hang out of the shirt cuffs over the wrist and hand, but not longer than the hand itself. Add them in little clumps spaced around the cuff and put a line of hot glue and then use a metal tool to press them firmly into the material and glue. It should be good enough to hold them in place. Add as much as you want, then add some into the ripped sections of the shoulder as well. I tend to just add 4 or 5 bits here just to give the impression of straw slipping out of the Scarecrow. And if you've added lots and lots of straw to the shirt and you're worried about it scratching or being a bit scratchy when you wear it, just add a bit of scrap material on the inside, hot glue it in place, and that'll just cover the straw ends and stop it from being too prickly. Then we're going to repeat this for the trousers. I tend to put some right at the bottom of the leg for effect. Now, with this process, do whatever feels right for the look of your costume. I mean, you can really go to town with this, but as a general rule, the more roughed up and old the Scarecrow looks, the more straw it will have spilling out of it. So lay it all out, see if you're happy with the final look, And if you are, just have a little think about how the mask is also going to connect into all this. So this is one of my typical standard masks that I've made on the channel, and all I've done to manage the transition between the mask and the body is to add in all this hay around the neck, which just attaches into the hood. You can add quite a bit here, and I think it really adds to the aesthetic of the Scarecrow look. And the last finishing touch is to add a hat. This is just a shop bought one with some weathering on it, and you can probably get one of these cheaply if you look around the shops at the end of the summer holidays. And here is the finished costume. I'm really pleased with the overall look, and it shows how you can take some simple clothing and make it look suitably spooky ready for Halloween. So I hope you found that helpful and it gave you some inspiration for your own costume. And just to finish up for this episode, here's a sneak peek from our upcoming video, The Legend of the Hay Witch, which we hope to release before Halloween. See you on the next one.